All right. So number six on my list, number one and part two is going to be another Netflix show. It's a miniseries, and it is called Sprint. And so Sprint chronicles the World Athletics Track and Field Cycle Championships in season one or part one. And then in part two, it chronicles the Olympic Games. And so this is kind of my Paris entry. The Olympic Games were this year in Paris. Maybe, probably, the Olympics are always memorable. Whenever you get people who have been working that hard and that long for one specific goal, you find that you get memorable moments, iconic moments, no matter what. But I think for this year was perhaps the most memorable Olympics I've ever seen, for so
Mm,
many different reasons. I think it was, the nature of how things have been constructed. Also, the first Olympics since COVID, right? So it felt like the first real Olympics in maybe 8 years rather than, just the 3 or 4 years from the previous one. Obviously the Steph Curry and LeBron James mega show that was the USA basketball team, the memorable, iconic moments that Steph Curry gave us there. And I could have put that in there. There are other sports that were tremendous. Gymnastics was tremendous. Swimming was awesome. So many different sports that I could have put in there. But y'all know when it comes to the Olympics, y'all know when it comes to, what time it is.
the
Like
classic.
the main event is on the track.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
main event is the sprints, man. Come on. Now y'all know what time it is, right? And I started watching sprints earlier this year when it came out in anticipation for the Olympics. They dropped it around that time, which was really exciting. But then, watching the Olympics, then being able to see behind the scenes of everything that happened, perhaps the most exciting 100-meter final that Noah Lyles edged out, but I think it was 1/1000th of a second or something of that nature. Um, Maybe ever, maybe the most exciting 100-meter race ever, where he was last place for about 60 to 70 meters of the race and then ends up winning. I mean, it's just you can't even predict. Like, you can't
It was
script that better. I
wild.
mean, it's just
Yes.
ridiculous. And then him getting contracting COVID, finding out he had COVID, and then running in the 200 meters even with COVID. Um, just the drama and how serious people take it. You think about all of our major moments in life and how many of our major moments are wrapped up in minutes and seconds, but we spend hours and
Hmm.
days and months and years agonizing over them.
Mm.
Years just agonizing over them. And then in 9 seconds, you find out where you land. And there are some guys that land in last and other guys that win the gold. And it's striking, building up
Yeah.
the anticipation, the expectation, but also the ability to be present with the anticipation patient and expectation. That's one of the hardest things for me in track. When I ran track in high school, it was very difficult and hard for me to consider how would I hold the tension of the present moment and the future anticipation to work as hard as I could and to work as hard as I needed to prepare my body for the future without being so overwhelmed with the future to sabotage my present preparation. I mean, it's just that
Mm.
tension. It really shows strong in sprint. It is, I mean, perhaps the best thing I've seen put together in terms of sports, track and field, behind the scenes that I've ever seen. Tremendous, almost scary levels of access, scary levels of transparency and vulnerability. And it really helped me as a fan to see just how much it costs them to do what they do
Mm.
and to see really, truly the triumph of victory and the crushing, crushing agony of what it means to lose when you've worked so hard for something. So I love Sprint. I'm gonna keep going back to it and watching it. It has tremendous replay value as well, so I do want to
Hmm.
acknowledge that. So yeah, Sprint would
I'm
be
glad
number
you
six for me.
mentioned that. Yeah, it's on my list. It's on my to watch list. And I remember just watching the trailer and being like, yo, this is about to be incredible. So I am glad you reminded me of that. I will go back and definitely watch that.